Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanath Swami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavadi Pasatya Desatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishubhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanandayo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanyan Prabhu Nityananda Yadvaita Gadada Srivasadi Sigora Bhaktavindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna and welcome to everybody present. And I wish you all a happy Pandava Nijal Ekadashi. And I seek your blessings, all the gathered Vaishnavas, and especially the exalted senior Vaishnavas in the forum, but everybody's blessing is required so that I can be able to do this service for purification and for the benefit of the audience. Thank you very much. We'll be taking our reading today from SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, first canto, chapter 15, text 21. Just give me 1 minute. I have some interference. Text number 21. I'm back here. Hare Krishna.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narautamam Divin Sarasatim Vyasam Tachudaya Mudirayet Nasta Priya Swabradesu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastikihi. We read the sloka, the Sanskrit sloka, then the word for word transliteration, and translation and purport. Tavai danusta isava sarato hayaste saham ratine patayo yata namanti savan sanena tadabura sadisakritam Basma hutaku hakaradam ivuptam usyam tadvai danusta isava saratu hayaste soaham ratine patayo yata namanti samam sanena tadabuddha sadisariktam Basman hutam kuhaka radam ivotamu sam Tavai danusta isava charato hatas hayaste. Taham ratinri patayo yata namanti. Savam sanena tadabut asadi sariktam. Basmam butam kuhaka radam ivuptamusyam. Word for word transliteration. Third, the same. Vai, certainly. Danute, the same bow. Isava, arrows. Saha, the very same. Rata, chariots. Kayate, the very same horses. Saham, I am the same Arjun. Rati, the chariots, fighters. Na Nripataya, all the kings. Yata, whom? Anamanti, offer their respects. Sarvam, all. Sanena, at a moment's notice. Tat, all those. Abut, became. Asat, useless. Isa, because of the Lord. Riktam, being void. Basman, ashes. Hutam, offering butter. Kuhakaradam, money created by magical feats. Eva, like that. Ubtam, sown. Usiam, in barren land. Translation and explanation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Yoga Guru Srila Prabhupada. I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same Arjun to whom all the kings offer their due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them at a moment's notice have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seed on a barren land. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagaguru Prabhupada Ki Jai. As we have discussed more than once, one should not be puffed up by borrowed plums. All energies and powers are derived from the Supreme Source, Lord Krishna, and they act as long as he desires and ceases to function as soon as he withdraws. All electrical energies are received from the powerhouse, and as soon as the powerhouse stops supplying energy, the bulbs are of no use. In a moment's time, such energies can be generated or withdrawn by the supreme will of the Lord. Material civilization without the blessings of the Lord is child's play only. As long as the parents allow the child to play, it is all right. As soon as the parents withdraw, the child has to stop. Human civilization and all activities, therefore, must be devoted with the supreme blessings of the Lord. And without this blessing, all advancements of human civilization it's like decoration on a dead body. It is said here that a dead civilization and its activities are something like clarified water on ashes. The accumulation of money by a magic wand and the sowing of seed in a barren land. Omagyan Mukankaroti va chalampangam nangayate grim yakripato mahamande. Chi Guru Dinatarinam yakripato mahamande. Paramananda Madhava, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nishwara. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, you're welcome, Prabhu.
I thank all of you present, and I recognize the presence of my superiors and shikshas, and also all of you who are my contemporaries, those who look up to us also. You are welcome. We are discussing content, essential content of devotional service. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna have postulated in 1866, Savadharma Parityaja, Mamekam Saranam Vraja, Aham Pam Savapapebhyo, Mokshanishai Masucha. He said, you abandon every other thing, surrender to me. So the real religion that exists is not the sects that we profess today. Judaism, Abrahamic religion, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, all these are not it. The real thing, the essence of all of this is surrender to Krishna. That's Krishna's demand. And I find seeming nearness when I have to explain Islam to some of our contemporary believers. I ask, what is the meaning of Islam? They will tell me outrightly, Islam means peace. But I detest that definition. I say, peace is a product of Islam. Islam is not peace. Then they ask, what is, if it's not peace, what is it? I say, Islam means completely surrendering to the will of Allah, God, Krishna. And if completely surrendering to the will of God is what it means that Krishna did not make a wrong pronouncement in Bhagavad Gita 1866, surrender. And when one surrenders, the third limb of surrender, third limb, anger, after the first two, accepting whatever is favorable, rejecting what is unfavorable. The text we are reading today falls between the category of second, rejecting what is unfavorable. But the third one is that complete dependence, that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect you. And if you put all your hope, conviction, faith, and reliance on a source of protection, you will be abiding by the mother of all instruction. Always think of Krishna and never forget Krishna. So Prabhupada mentioned in the purport of Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, text number 10. Prabhupada mentioned clearly that the material creation by the Lord of creation is a chance offered to the conditioned souls to come back home, back to God. All living entities within the material world are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness. So if the mother of all instruction is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And so we are here because of forgetfulness of our relationship with Vishnu, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. So, and there are a lot of factors that can determine this forgetfulness. One of which Prabhupada is mentioning in his purport here. He said, it has been mentioned, it has been discussed more than once. One should not be puffed up by borrowed plums. Borrowed means making show of what does not belong to you. In his Upanishad, he said that Isavasyam idam sad, that everything in existence, animate or inanimate, is owned, controlled by the Supreme Lord. Owned and controlled. But one should accept as his own quota that which has been allotted for him, leaving others. But when we want to do contrary to this, then we'll be depending or seeing ourselves as doers. And that is a demoniac mentality that is mentioned in the 16th chapter, Iswaro Ham, Aham Bogi, Sidoham, Balaban Suki. I'm the controller. I'm the enjoyer. Everything is under my control, and there is no one like me. This is a perverted concept that will not help us in our devotional service. But you can see that this is what is prevalent in the world today. People being puffed up and thinking themselves the controller, owner of all the survey. But the text we are reading from the SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM now is the segment where Arjun's remembrance of Krishna is activated. His remembrance is activated. Text 18 to 23 of this chapter is that Arjun is remembering intimate moments with Krishna. Sunyayitam Jagat Sabam Govinda Virahena. Feeling a moment's suppression, I consider the whole to be vacant. So he's feeling void. But then, after now, he will revive his consciousness by applying the required technology or technique. The required technique is remembering. That's what Krishna demanded 2 times. Always engage your mind in thinking of me, 934 and 1865. Mamana Bhavama Bhakti. Always think of me. Become my devotee. Offer your homage. Worship me. This will make you be absorbed in me. When you're absorbed in Krishna, Krishna is not absent. But when we see other things, other than Krishna, then
Ganga Prasad Prabhu, you are muted, please.
okay. Thank you.
Hare
I'm
Krishna.
not muted. I'm on. Am I on now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I had an interfering call. I don't know why this happened, but
It's okay.
please overlook it. Huh? I'm not minding it, so I'm just carrying. So when we lean on what does not belong to us, it makes us become unconscious of Krishna. But if we're always cognizant of the fact that everything belongs to Krishna, then we'll be very, very appreciative and filled with gratitude that what we have does not belong to us. Just like what he said by Joel Goldsmith when he was describing Christ's statement. He said, I can of myself do nothing, but I that dwells in me, he does everything. And so Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, text 23, had mentioned this when he said that there is another supreme transcendental enjoyer. We call it transcendental enjoyer. He says, Upadrasta numanta cha bata bota maheshwara paramatmeti cha pyukto dihasmin purusha para. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as overseer, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer, the permitter, and who is known as the super soul. So everything belongs to Krishna. And if you look very closely to be able to understand it, and that is why we cannot at any time afford to forget Krishna. And thinking that Krishna is missing is also elusive. Why? Every ingredient of material creation is there. But like Prabhupada put towards the end of the purport, anything that doesn't have leaning with Krishna is useless. So the ingredients of material creation were manifested as Pradhan, Mahatattva, or all the ingredients, including the universal form. But the universal form is an assembly of all of these ingredients, but for 1,000 years, they were lying inactive. Why? Because the presence of God and time has not come to move them into acting. So that presence of God coming in is what makes for motion. It's what makes for mobilization. And so if at any point we see that things are not moving in the direction of the motion we want, we should be patient and wait on the Lord, confident that God has given his word. It will be there all the time for us. And in his own way, he will float it. So yes, Arjuna is teaching us how to think, how to act, how to behave. But the unique thing that I'm deducing from this very lesson about Arjuna is that in the Mahabharata, 2 times, well, I say 2 times, or let me take one very glaring example. When Abhimanyu was killed, Arjuna, out of his own prowess, self-esteem, vowed, before sunset tomorrow, I will kill Jadratha. Before sunset tomorrow. And if I don't do that, I will walk into the fire pile. He did that out of his own volition, assuming that he has all together for himself. But Krishna is always trying to prove his own factor in everything. Krishna watched on. But then when the news went out to the other camp, they made sure Jadratha was hidden beyond visibility. And so at the end of the day's battle, neither did Arjuna see Jadratha, nor was he able to kill him. But he was taunted by the pronouncement he has made. You will walk into fire pile if you don't kill Jadratha. So he on his own came back to Krishna, mentioned, Krishna, this is my Waterloo. I made the pronouncement and I have gone ahead to attempt on my own, but to no avail. So I have no option but to keep my word of honor as a Kshatriya. So I'm going to walk into the fire pile. And so I told Krishna, please, can you keep custody of this, my Gandiva bow? And Krishna said, for now, please, the person who is unmuted should mute up. Please mute the background noise.
It's okay, it's
said,
done.
what is my business with Gandiva bow? Your whole confidence, your impetus, your conviction was you are the wielder of the Gandiva bow, and so you can do at your own volition. But you forgot the factor of the Bhota Bhakta Maheshwara. So go with your Gandiva bow, enter the fire pile with it so that you can serve whatever purpose there is in the fire pile. And Arjuna went with his Gandiva bow, but as he was going, Krishna enacted the Krishna factor. He was going dejected to walk into the fire pile, and Krishna said, hey, Partha, look there. The sun is still in the sky. And at this time, when this was happening, Jadratha had come out from his hiding. And Krishna said, look at Jadratha there. Now you can accomplish your mission. You see where the Krishna factor comes in. But he admonished him. Their daughter has the benediction that whomsoever beheads him, wherever the head fall, it will be devastated, or the person who beheads him will be devastated. So he told him his father is somewhere meditating. Shoot your arrow, direct the cut off head to the laps of the father where he's meditating. So that not only will he die, the father also will die. Because of that Krishna factor, Arjun accomplished this feat. This is Krishna's own wonder. And this is a very good example that, considering the modern day civilization, God has completely been put in the background. Before God, in every economy is money. And that is the only verse of the Bible that I feel uncomfortable with. Money answereth all things. But is it true that money answereth all things? Huh? Money talks, bullshit work, but money does not answer everything. Krishna Brahma Samhita said, Sarva Karanam Karanam is the cause of all causes, not money. And even money belongs to him. The goddess of Lakshmi is laying on his chest. And so he has control also over fortune and wealth. So if you have him, you have everything. That's why Sanjaya ended Gita by saying, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yata Pato Danodara, Tatra Sivijayo Bhuti, Dhruva Nitimati Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the supreme mystic, and wherever there is the supreme archer, Arjun, there be morality, extraordinary power, opulence, and victory. That is his conviction. So the Krishna factor is very important. That is just one example that we have given. So Arjun went to Dwarka on his prescribed assignment to secure the wives of the queens of Dwarka. But Krishna has his own all plans laid out, and he's going to achieve it with or without anybody, because he is Swarat, supremely independent. He's independent, and he's not answerable to anybody. He's not wanting to convince you before he does what he will do. For him, you should watch how it unfolds and enjoy it and stay tuned. That is Krishna's transmission. Enjoy it as it unfolds and stay tuned. So when Arjun became overpowered by the cowherd boys, he felt something has gone wrong. But nothing has really gone wrong. It is only Krishna orchestrating his desire, because he is the transcendental enjoyer. That is not sin, but he's there. It is his plans, like from the preceding text we read, how Astavaka Muni had benedicted the young girls, daughters of the demigods, and when he felt molested or made caricature of by them, he cursed them. When they became remorseful again, he blessed them. And the blessing is that, yes, you will be captured, but then Krishna will be the one to come and save you. You have Krishna as your husband, you'll be captured, but in the end, look like what happened in the pastime of Hiranyakashipu and Lord Nrsimhadev. All the benedictions of Brahma to Hiranyakashipu, none was annulled. It was kept intact. But Krishna's standard evolved a manipulative process that kept the blessing intact, and still Hiranyakashipu has to be killed, because when Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha as Jai and Vijay were leaving Vaikuntha, Narayan had made the promise, go, enact the pastime we have proposed, but leave your original Swarup here to continue your service, because devotional service cannot be discontinued. It's a matter of pastime. So they came, and Krishna said, Narayan said, I will come and get you back. And that is what happened. So if we're looking at it from the ordinary or layman's perspective, we'll become like Arjuna is feeling now. Oh, Krishna is not there, and so all these things are not working. But the simple philosophy is what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10 or chapter 7, text number 7 and 8, 7, 7 and 8 to 10. Krishna was mentioning. He said, O conqueror, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests on me as spears rests on threads. I am the taste of water, the light of the sun, the syllable Om, the Vedic mantra. I am the sound of ether and the ability in man. I'm the ability in man. So, like Prabhupada said, and he gave the example of electricity. He gave the ability. If he takes the ability, what is your own? Stay tuned. You can give it again. He made the sun to set, and he made the sun to rise again. That is his own prerogative. Ours is just lead on, my Lord, lead on. You watch. And in the next day, he said, I'm the original fragrance of the earth. I'm the heat in fire. I'm the life of all that lives. I'm the penance of ascetics. In the 10th text, he said, I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of the all-powerful man. So if Arjuna is feeling defeated, he's feeling all his weapon, everything, that is Krishna enacting his pastime. Who cares? Just stay tuned and watch what Krishna wants. But it is natural that we get into bewildered, little bit of illusion and confused situation. But then Arjuna is a role model. That's what Krishna placed him as, so that we can learn from him. In the first chapter towards the end, he had the same bewilderment, but then by interacting with Krishna, he had his doubt cleared. Here also the bewilderment is there, but after this, you see what he did. He revived his frame of mind and his composure by remembering Krishna. That's why in the beginning I said that the mother of all instruction is always to remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So if we look at what Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport very closely, we will see that Prabhupada gave an example of electricity, and he also referred to the modern day civilization. Material civilization without blessings of the Lord is like child's play, only without blessings of the Lord. And you can see the volume of anarchy, chaos, and pandemonium that is in the world today in the name of technological and modern civilization. The volume of armaments that is there at people's disposition now. If it is a God-guided civilization, that is not called for. If Krishna has promised he will protect you, yes, you can make effort to protect yourself, but ultimately you still depend on Krishna for protection. So electric energies are received from the powerhouse. Everything comes from Krishna. But we should just live the life of Isavasya, the principle of Isavasya, recognizing the proprietor, the owner, the controller, and depend on him in all circumstances, that he will do his own bit. But when we don't do that, then we create our own paradigm, we create our own facilities, and the same facility will become our source of misery. It's just like in Nigeria here. Everybody see Nigeria as a very oil-rich country, and we experience oil boom in Nigeria, one of the major oil exporters of the world. for the same oil boom, oil exploration, and the source of major wealth for the nation, is the major cause of the destruction of the whole economy, and is making life very miserable for people. 80% of the wealth is in the hands of maybe 10% of the population. And a greater portion of that 10% wants to subjugate others, and they want to do it by fire or by force. And so a huge amount of our revenue is diverted into individual pockets, and they use that to acquire arms to equip bandits. And the bandits are going to attack their own only. So this gave me reference. So I would like everybody, if you have time later in the day, Madam Mahadevi used to encourage us in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram, that on Ekadashi, you do 25 rounds minimum, and then you read some portion of Krishna book. So what we are reading now is only expanding how we should always remember Krishna and Krishna's activity, and also see in the light of when we don't remember Krishna, then we see that things don't work the way they are supposed to be. So in chapter 79 of the Krishna book, the super excellent power of Krishna, it narrates Arjun's similar experience. I gave example of the Jadratha one. There's another one in this same canto of Bhagavatam where Arjun, the moment he heard that their 5 sons were killed, he just went Philippan and he made all sorts of promises to Draupadi. You know, he created manifestos, but in the end, the manifesto was not achievable. Okay? Chapter 79 is the super excellent power of Krishna. Oh, no, not 79, sorry, 89. 89, please. Sorry for that slip. 89. Okay? So if you read this, it is almost the same thing. Arjun went to Dwarka to get the queens. The same scenario is in Dwarka. While Arjun was there, a Brahmana's wife was delivering, and the child would die at birth. And by Vedic culture, the Brahmana has knowledge of what civility of society should be. So he went to King Ugrasena and he was ranting. He poured his mind. What kind of kingdom is this where the king cannot protect the citizens? The first priority or the responsibility of every government is to protect life and property and the territorial integrity of their sovereignty. So when he felt threatened, he's giving birth to children as a Brahmana. He knows what he should do. The king also is doing all the rituals. So why now that can a Brahmana's son, their child, die? So he just took the dead body of his son to the front of the palace. And he was accusing the king that he must be doing something wrong. And he incited people. This king should not be worshipped because he's doing wrong things. Arjun was there. And so, child 1 to 9 of the same Brahmana died. No, 1 to 8. And he came, and Arjun heard his cry, and Arjun went to him, hearing all the blasphemy he's speaking. But he was expressing himself in the obvious, but that is not going to bring any result. Though result came in the end. And Arjun listened, and Arjun went to him. And Arjun also did the same thing he has done before, made promises of protect. I'm the wielder of the Gandiva bow, asked of me and all of this. But Krishna was there. Balaram was there. The king was there. Pradyumna was there. Aniruddha was there. All the Yadavas were there. And this was happening. But Arjun did not pause to think, why is this happening? He just fled into emotion. No, don't worry. The best Kshatriya in town, I will take care of the business. And so Krishna was just watching to see what will happen. And he still went ahead and said, if I don't protect your next child, I will enter the fire pile. It's the second time, Philippancy. out of arrogant or proud. So he went to, when it was time for he convinced the Brahmana, and the Brahmana had faith in him because he already lost faith in everything in the system. But Arjun convinced him, and so when the wife was to deliver, he was carrying, oh, Arjun, please come and help. Arjun, come and help. And Arjun did come. And Arjun put on his bow and arrow, and he shot arrows in all directions. And he was very active, agile, you know. But as soon as the child was born, the cry of the baby was heard. But the next thing is that not only did the child disappear, Arjun's arrows disappeared also. Arjun was devastated. He didn't know what to do. So feeling he could not protect the Brahmana's child, he went to Krishna, his friend, and narrated his ordeal and told him, well, I have promised I'll enter the fire pile if I cannot do my bidding. And Krishna, knowing what is happening, because everything is orchestrated by Krishna, this is the hidden knowledge you should have. Everything, not even a blade of grass, can move without the supreme approval of God. That's what that Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, text 23. There's something the transcendental enjoyer is enjoying that you don't know. And because of that, he permits and he approves and he observes. But we don't know that. Sometimes we may know if we are fortunate. So Arjun told Krishna, I have to enter there. And Krishna was very sympathetic that, oh, look at these guys, they don't know what's up. I'm doing everything and they are just bewildered in my act. So he told Arjun, don't worry. I'll get your arrows back. I'll get the Brahmana's son back. And Krishna called for his chariot, and then he climbed the chariot and he put Arjun on it. And they left. They crossed all the planets, all the mountains, all the islands, all the whatever within the material universe. And they came to the dark region, the covering of this material universe. They came there. Because Krishna was playing the human pastime. He's playing like a human, but he did not change his spiritual identity. His 4 horses refused to enter the dark region. That's the covering of the material universe. Then Krishna brought out his Sudarshan chakra and put it in front. So everywhere was illuminated, just like a torchlight. And then they crossed out of the material universe and they came to the Virat, the Brahmajyoti, outside this material world. Because in the spiritual realm, there's nothing like darkness. It's all effulgent. And Krishna was telling Arjuna, this brightness you are seeing is just from my body. It's a spark of my energy. So they proceeded and went to a very big palace in the Karana Ocean, where they encountered Mahavishnu lying on an Antashesha. Descriptions of all his look is there. But the end point is when they have finished offering obeisance and greeting Mahavishnu got up and said, wow, I have just been here waiting for you guys. The missing sons of the Brahmana and your arrows, I kept them here in my safekeep. But that was my tool to attract you here so that I can have your darshan and also remind you that the past time you came here to enact, time is up. You have to wind up. And in the end, they came back with all the children of the Brahman. In that portion, he said, now they have grown. They have grown up. And Arjun took his bow. So this episode is enough to convince anybody that God is the author, controller, designer of everything. But that is in the platform of, the 10 content of Bhagavatam. when the preliminary creation and the secondary creation. All these were done by Krishna's own internal energy, and he left them. They were there until when finally he came into them. It was only at the advent of Gabodakasha, at the advent of the Kalarup and Maya, that activities came. Kalarupa, that Virat Rupa became activated, and then Gabodakasha Vishnu manifested, and then Brahma unfolded from the lotus, from the navel of Gabodakasha Vishnu. This is when activity started. Otherwise, for 1,000 years, all the elements, including Virat Rup, they were inactive. So that is just to buttress the fact that the God factor, it is the motivator, it is the activator, and it's the consciousness in everything that makes things work. So when seemingly we perceive that, oh, it's not happening that way now, just be patient. That's why it says 6 principles are favorable to devotional service. Utsaha, nischaya dhyayet, being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, and being patient. Be patient. Krishna will unfold. Brahma went through the same thing. He came out of the lotus. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know his neighborhood. He waited for a while, and out of curiosity, he started searching his environment. In the end, he could not find any solution by his own effort until he heard the sound, Tapa. He performed austerity for thousands of years, but he pleased Gabodakasha Vishnu. And then he begged for the power, for creative impetus. He begged for that power, meaning the power does not belong to him. It's just like sometimes, I'm not being particular or critical, but when we talk to our contemporary brothers in Christendom, they say, oh, what makes them stick is that Jesus died and rose again on the third day. You know, they feel very elated about it. But on their tone statement there, he said, whom the power of God raised from the dead. He didn't rise of his own. You know, this factor is there. The power of God raised him. It is that power of God that puts everything into motion. But what makes us tick, in my own understanding, is that we have knowledge of how God comes here and goes. It's the type you never heard or seen before. This is the beauty of the Vedic scripture that we have, and the activities of God. So please, it is to rekindle our faith that we read pastimes like this, and also to spur us to become more committed in our practice. My personal experience is enough a conviction that God's power works. As of the last week, there is a remorse and worries about the message about the health of Kadamba Kanana Swami, stage 4 of cancer. Okay? And himself has said he's not sure how long he has to be here for. But I'm not making boasts. I had stage 4 of prostate cancer. And I know what my experience was. Those of my ESCO members or National Council members who attended the last meeting I attended in February 2020, before I traveled, you can know what my physical structure was like. The system was not working. But somehow, by Krishna's arrangement, I was private to go to India, got the best attention in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, and enjoy the love and care of devotees. Vanamali Prabhu in Mira Road Temple is the president or co-president. Is one person that I owe a lot of gratitude to. Why? Vanamali told me that if he had met me earlier, I may not have gone through the orthodox treatment I went through. He will want me to go to Ayurvedic Cancer Hospital in Valsad, Gujarat. So when I was discharged from a Bhaktivedanta Hospital, I went to Kochi for Pancha Karma. Then lockdown met me in Kochi. Immediately, I paced back to Mumbai and I fell in Vanamali's hand. Vanamali Prabhu gave me his driver to go with me to Valsad and stay as my attendant for 11 days in the hospital. That is his own sacrifice to care for me. I went there. They gave me every day, my breakfast beverage was panchagardia. Cow dung, cow urine, cow milk, cow yogurt, and ghee. There is a proportion or ratio for producing the beverage. That's the first thing. It boosts the immune system. It has a very strong confrontation with cancer. And then they placed me on particular diet, some pranayama exercise, some yoga exercises, and they created a lifestyle for me. As Krishna will have it, I was there, then the Maharashtra lockdown was pronounced. I got stuck in the hospital. I'm supposed to be discharged after 11 days. I could not go anywhere because I don't have anywhere to go to. Everywhere is locked. Temples are closed. But the hospital authority, I pleaded with them and said, I'm a foreigner. I don't have anywhere to go. It is on record I came to your hospital. So you have to take care of me. They agreed until government order came that all hospitals should be vacated. And I cried out again to Baldev Prabhu. Baldev prevailed on the Bhaktivedanta Hospital doctors, and they came with an arranged ambulance. I vacated me from the hospital. I was the last patient in the hospital. Everybody had gone. It brought me to Bhaktivedanta Palliative, very close to Mumbai in Sasupal. That's where I was until the end of the COVID, but my treatments were going on. At the end of my stay in the palliative, the doctor said, your recovery is a miracle. Who is the doer of the miracle? So like Arjun said, it is the same. I have the same Gandiva bow, same arrow, same chariot, drawn by same horses, and I use them as the same Arjun. But in the absence of Krishna, all of them at a moment's notice have become null and void. In my own case, with Krishna's presence, everything has come to normal. The last medical checkup I did, he said, asymptomatic, means no symptoms. You can go and live your normal life. This is the Krishna factor. It's not anybody's factor. It's not because you know how to do, you have the skin, you have the power, you have the intelligence, no. Krishna said, I will protect who I want to protect, and I will destroy whoever. Whoever I want to destroy, nothing can protect him. And who I want to protect, nothing can destroy. So this episode is episode of Krishna enacting pastimes. And in the commentary of our previous Acharya, it is confirmed by Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur that actually it was Krishna who came. You can read the same chapter, same text of Karma Sandamba of Jiva Goswami and Sarata Dasini of Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti, and you find the commentary there. Krishna came as those cowhead boys and he took back his queens. So I would like to stop here because time is fast spent, and I hope you are edified by whatever presentation we have made. And in case there are chastisements, I like that. If there is a comment, I like it also. If there's questions, you're welcome. And if there's corrections, it will be well.
Oh, Ganga Prasad Prabhu, please, you are muted. Please unmute yourself.
All right.
Okay.
Did you hear this portion of request for chastisement, correction?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I think you can take over from here. I was only hanging out there while you.
Yes, okay. Well, thank you so much, as usual, Ganga Prasad Prabhu. I mean, your classes are always super duper, but you even make us feel it more whenever you bring in your own personal life stories. And I don't know exactly what to say, but it's, I mean, I take care of people, I take care of patients, and it's a situation where one cannot say, oh, I've seen so much, I have felt so much, so I'm used to it. You never get used to. So whenever we hear situations like this, and especially myself being in the forefront of situations like this, it's kind of heavy. But we thank Guru and Krishna that you are what you are today, and hopefully Guru and Krishna will even do more. So at this point, we encourage the devotees to kindly please unmute and ask your questions. Please make your questions very soothing. Okay. And even though Prabhuji says chastisements, no chastisements allowed, please. Okay, Hare Krishna. So please indicate by showing your hand if you have a question. Sri Ganga Prasad Prabhu, I have two questions. Well, I say two questions because the second question is dependent on the first question I have. Depending on the answer of the first question, I may not have a second question. And the first question is, you talked about Sanjaya's realization or assertion that wherever there is Krishna, the supreme mystic, and Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will always be victory, there will be morality. Now, my question is, what is morality?
Morality is living based on the principles of the religious principles. Okay, in the 18th, I think maybe 17th chapter of this same canto, where Maharaj Pariki was interacting with Surabi and Dharma, he was mentioning that by milking the cow, we are drawing religious principles. We draw religious principles. So living according to the religious principles, living according to the dictates of the instructions of God. That's what brings morality. If you live outside the dictates of God, there will be immorality. And a very glaring example, in this same chapter 89, if you read through, you see it's mentioned that morality means Krishna establishes godly environment, godly kings, and sane godly life in society. An example of King Yudhishthira was given. I think in previous classes I gave, he said, King Yudhishthira, during his regime, there was no anxiety, there was no stress, there was no distress for the citizens. Why? The king ruled according to religious principles that are enacted. Krishna, Tum Shakshat Bhagavad Pranitam, is the enactor of the religious principles. So according to the dictates of Krishna, not according to our own whims and caprices. So that is what my understanding of morality is.
All right, Hare Krishna. I asked that because there is a slight difference, or like I would say addition to the definition of morality according to the dictionary. There is a religious rules and etiquettes being followed, and social also. So I just wanted to find out where social norms and religious principles intersect. And if even we should put aside social norms and just stick to religious rules and principles. Srila Prabhupada, in one of his many comments, was saying that who institutes morality? Because according to scriptures, a son must obey his parents, must obey his father. So in connection to Dhruva Maharaj disobeying his father asked him not to go to the forest. Again, same Dhruva Maharaj, his spiritual master Narada Muni, asked him to go back home, not to stay in the forest, but he ignored them all. And in that regard, Srila Prabhupada was saying that morality tells that Dhruva should have listened to his father. Dhruva should have listened to his spiritual master, but he didn't. And so I want you to throw a little bit more light on what was Sanjaya meaning when he said morality will reign, when at some point what is actually inscribed in the scriptures are not being followed and is also not considered to be immorality or amorality. Hare Krishna. You are muted, Ganga Prasad Prabhu.
I think his network is hanged.
Yeah, I think so.
It's come back now. I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
But I'm not sure. Okay.
There is a problem because your mic still indicates that you are muted.
Yeah, I think some calls are entering his phone, so it's cutting him off, and then.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's off now completely.
Yeah.
It can't. Yeah, it's here now, but it's muted. Video also off.
Yeah, I think it's
that's what. Yeah, that's what happens when you connect with a mobile phone.
Okay.
Using mobile phone hotspots.
Yeah.
Especially busy line. But I think the line of thought you are actually developing is a very interesting one, because morality means following the instructions of religious principles. But we've seen more oftenly, especially in the Vedic scriptures, that several activities are engaged in which seemingly are immoral acts based on scriptural religious principles. But then they are considered spiritual. So what is the marketing line? So I think it's a very nice line of thinking.
Yeah.
So let's wait for Ganga Prasad Prabhu to come and enlighten us.
Well, he's back, but he's okay.
Can you hear me now?
Wonderful.
Yeah, we welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome back.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
so Sadeh Prabhu,
Hare Krishna.
you know, in my last lecture, I called you a professor. I'm not changing that title because you think very probingly like a professor. So yes, discussions like these are healthy because they help us. 1 minute. Oh, God. Yeah. This is what it means to live in Nigeria. So Prabhupada's purport is appropriate. Once the authorities are being asked, then you are helpless. You have to stop. Okay, so let us get back to your question. Where does morality, what role does morality play on social life? Or is it limited to religious principles? Well, Prabhupada said in the purport, translation and purport of text number, chapter 1, text 40 of Bhagavad Gita. So you can see what religion does in terms of social life also. He said, when irreligion is prominent in the family circle, Adama Abi Bhagavad Krishna, Pradusyanti Kula Shriya, Srisu, Dustasu, Vasneya, Jayate, Vanashankara, unwanted progeny. When religion is prominent in the family, oh Krishna, the women of the family become polluted. And from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vishnu, comes unwanted progeny. So you can see in the Papa said, religious principles, when they are prevalent, they will produce good population in human society. And good population is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress. So you need both spiritual progress and social enabling environment to strive. So it's a collaboration of both. It's not just one-sided. So Krishna also said further, where he said, Chato Vanya Maya Sristwa Puna Kama, I created this social order. So religious principles enacted or postulated by Krishna is not limited to religion. It's about holistic life. Holistic life. If you look at the instructions of Bhishma Dev to King Yudhishthira, it was not just about religion. He spoke about society completely and what can make society work. So in religious principles, social principles are also embedded in them. And that's why the Varnashram system came up and Krishna said, I created this social order. And people can be identified according to the modes and the work attached to the mode they function with. So they are all encompassing. It's just not like one way of doing things. The Brahmana has his duty, the Kshatriya has duty, the Vaishya has duty, the Sudra also has duty. And then the order, Sannyasi, Vanaprastha, Grihastha, and Brahmachari. These are progressive orders to prove if society is working based on the religious principles enacted. So we cannot separate them if we are thinking holistically. But if we become parochial and fanatical, then we can minimize certain area. You'll find out that the evidence of our belief system will now be wanting when it comes to our social life. It's just like when you talk of devotee care. Devotee care includes his spiritual, his material, and his social life. And it's even his economic needs. It's not just he should chant 16 rounds, he should follow 4 regulative principles. He has to eat also. He has to pay his bills. No matter what you preach, if your kids go to hospital and they don't pay bills, that is irreligious. If you send your kids to school and they don't pay school fees, it is not in line with religious principles. It's counterproductive. So in my understanding, they are all encompassing, they are not separated.
Thank you so much, Shri Ganga Prasad Prabhu. I personally love practical answers, and I find this answer very practical, especially when it comes to devotee care. Thank you so much. Salika Prabhu, please unmute.
Hare Krishna, His Grace Ganga Prasad Prabhu Ki Jai. Thank you very much. Beautiful narrations, beautiful stories, beautiful life experience. There is no better way. Prabhupada said in his purport that whatever he has put in the translated is what Krishna has given, but his Bhaktivedanta purport are his personal realizations. And in this lecture, what you are sharing with us is the personal realization of the scriptures, which is very helpful in the day-to-day life of devotional service. I have a question, but before going to that question, I just wanted to point something. Maybe you can answer the two together. As a kind of a follow-up to questions of Sahadev Prabhu, because I was actually having that line of thinking. When Lord Krishna appears as Ramachandra kills a woman, when Lord Krishna appears as Krishna, and he kills a demon who is a woman also.
Yeah,
we can say, okay, Krishna, that is Krishna, but then let us go down. When Arjuna and the Pandavas brothers married one wife, this is not in line with religious principles. And 5 brothers marry one woman, and many stories like this we can find in the scriptures. And they're not considered, they are considered engaging in moral activities. So at what point do we know that an activity is moral or is not moral from our position? Because when we look at our day-to-day life, we see even in our system, in our present day Bhagavatam story, in this era, we have seen so many pastimes of marriages, of devotee interpersonal relationship. So we want to understand whether these also are morality or immorality, because one of the greatest challenges in our modern times is that there are so many things that if you ask the young devotees today, they will tell you it is as a result of so much of immoralities of the senior devotees who actually are there that have caused the situation that is being experienced today in devotional life. And some will say, no, it is in line, it is all right, they were actually engaging in moral activities. So this is one aspect I want you to clarify. Maybe I should allow you to answer that before I ask the main question, or you want me to ask the second question?
All right. Let's deal with this because it's a very sensitive, crucial issue. Okay. And in my own little understanding of the scripture, whatever we can say is justifiable is based on the triad. What is that triad? The triad on which our philosophy and practice is based on. We cannot manufacture anything outside that. The triad is that truth, tradition, and transformation. Truth, Shastra. Tradition, Guru. Transformation, Sadhu. So Sadhu, Shastra, Guru, Sadhu is the measurement, we call it barometer, with which we can measure morality. If you look through in the scripture, we will find many seemingly contradicting situations. It's just like he said in Gita, approach a bona fide spiritual man, inquire from him, render service unto him. he can impart knowledge unto you. Then take the example of Ekalavya. Ekalavya went to Dronacharya. Dronacharya did not accept him, but he accepted Dronacharya. He made statue of Dronacharya. He was serving, he was inquiring, and he was getting internal instruction. Then when the symptoms of his practice and impute came to bear, Arjuna and the Pandavas, when they were in the forest, discovered a dog that has a mouth knitted like basket weaving with arrows. They themselves were amazed. So, wow, what a masterpiece of artistry. So they sought where this happened, and they came to the hut of Ekalavya. And they asked Ekalavya, who is your guru? He said, Dronacharya is my guru. So they went back and told the Dronacharya, does it mean you have a secret disciple and is exhibiting wonders? But he said no. He said no. Then he requested to know where they found that disciple. And they came to him. They came to Ekalavya's hut. And he asked Ekalavya, who's your? He said, you are my guru. Look at you on the Vyasa stand there. But I never accepted you as guru. Ekalavya said, but I accepted you as guru. Look at this one, it's a stalemate. I did not accept you as a disciple, but you accept. But I accepted you as guru. And it's okay. Let's end the stalemate. If you accepted me as guru, did you give me guru dakshina? And he said, whatever you ask of as guru dakshina, I'll give you. And he requested of his thumb. He cut off his thumb. Why cutting off his thumb? It is to deny him the ability to execute that mastery, to defend one other disciple, Arjuna. Okay? In the mathematics of God and in the Vedic scripture, to save one community, to save one family, you sacrifice one human being. It looks immoral, but it's objective. To save a community, you sacrifice one family. It looks immoral, but it is objective. So similarly, by our own understanding, we may not be able to place the cut-off points of certain activities, but we can understand better if we use the barometer of Shastra, Guru, and then the testimony or the evidence of these two is that there is a transformed personality that is called the Sadhu. This is the much I can put in it, and we can blow the scope of the references, but we can break them down also if we use this barometer. Whatever you say has happened, whatever is happening, what will happen, if the gurus are thorough in their knowledge of the scripture, because that's what is said in Bhagavad Gita 3:27, such natural leaders should be conversant. 3:21, purport. Prabhupada was explaining that such natural leaders, they must be conversant with the scriptural codes. Only then they can lead their society or their citizens, their subjects. 3:21, whatever a great man does, common men follow. So in the end of it, Prabhupada said, one who desires to improve himself must follow the standard rules as they are practiced by the great teacher. And in the end, what you have highlighted, all such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes. I don't know if I can understand better for now. This is my understanding.
Thank you very much for the beautiful answer to that question. The other question I wanted to ask is, in the course of the lecture, if actually the theme of the lecture is talking about the Krishna factor in every situation, and you emphasize much on that, you went into so many pastime, giving life experience and all of that. And in the course of explaining that, you did mention one statement which is ringing in my head. If Krishna is not there, or when things are not going right, we are not getting something, we're striving for something, we don't get it. It means Krishna, that is not what Krishna wants to happen. But then, when we look at it from the practical experience, practical lifestyle, can this be applied to all situations? You understand my question? Can this Krishna factor be applied to all situations of seemingly unsuccessful activities or endeavors?
Your question is a very nice question. It makes you, what do they call it? Associate professor. Associate professor.
You've gotten a disciple. That's what I did.
All right. The question is very nice. It will be compromising or deviating if we speak in the contrary. If Brahma Samhita said, Ishwara Param Krishna, Sachit Ananda Vrigaha, Anadi Adi Govinda, Savaka is the cause of all causes. So where will we remove cause and we'll remove causes again? Krishna is in everything. You know, look like when, what is his name? Ambarish Maharaj. He observed the Ekadashi, like you're observing Panjawa Nidel Ekadashi. And as a king, he's not doing it because of only his self-interest. He's doing it for the welfare of his citizenry. And if the fast is not broken at the right time, the benefit will not accrue. So he consulted with the priestly class. This is my dilemma. I'm hosting a very august guest. I am fasting. I have not fed my guests, but I have to break my fast. What should I do? By consulting spiritual authority. Tadvidi, Pranipasena Sevaya. And it was cancelled. Drinking water will be as good as breaking your fast. So he drank water. And Dhuvasmuni discovered. And you call yourself a king, and you are acting contrary to the dharma of a king. You are eating when your guest has not taken, but it's only water he drank. He raged in anger, and all that followed. But what did Ambarish do? What did Ambarish do? Juxtapose it with what did Parikshit do? Ambarish just folded his palm and said, Marabi, Rakabi, Woichatuhara. I've done my bit by observing Ekadashi and breaking Ekadashi. And somebody is offended. And I'm threatened. But if it is your wish to kill me, that is your own wish. If it's your wish to protect me, that is your own wish. So you can see this seeming conflicting situation. But in the end, Krishna sent Sudarshan Chakra and beheaded the fire demon that Dhruvasamuni evoked from the hair strand. And the same Sudarshan Chakra started chasing Dhruvasamuni, and he ran all through the planetary system until he came to Vishnu Loka, and Vishnu told him, go back and apologize to who you offended. That is the secret of deliverance. So whatever situation we go through, let us just humble.
Prabhuji's internet is frozen.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I think he'll get back.
He'll get back to us. He's still online.
Yeah, he still is.
I think maybe some other call is coming.
Yeah.
Fall in the mood of Ambarish.
Ganga Prasad Prabhu, oh, did we lose him? Yeah, we lost him. I was going to suggest to him to stop his video momentarily, we see.
I think it's not even the video. I think some calls are coming in. So what he needed to do is do not disturb. So that will allow him to, those calls will not come, but he will still have his access.
Well, he's back.
Hmm.
He's back, but he's still muted.
Yeah, he's trying to unmute now.
Yeah.
I put it on do not disturb, but it's still coming. What to do? So that is the answer to your question.
No, I think that is the problem. Being a very important person. You are VIP.
Anyway,
Okay.
so we look at the case of Parikshit Maharaj also. Parikshit Maharaj has a very glorious heritage and lineage. Well trained. He was not made king as a novice. It's only after Yudhishthira certified this is worthy, and he enthroned him. But will it not bewilder you that the same trained Kshatriya king who protected the territorial integrity of his kingdom by not allowing Kali, the same person went and disrespected his sadhu? What will you put it as? But in the end, he said he knows it's Krishna who has done this so that he will achieve something. And what he achieved by that is what I'm relishing with you now, SRIMAD Bhagavatam. So in our own perception, in our own view, we may see a lot of abnormalities. But if we depend on that same triad I've mentioned, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, we'll be able to break even the situation. Prabhupada himself was given instruction in 1922 by his guru. It took Prabhupada 44 years before he could come to terms with executing that instruction. But he couldn't have come to full terms with it if he did not have this bizarre of experience that his attempt was, I'll make money, because he's already in the business world. He was not like a regular ashram devotee. He was making money. He had his pharmaceutical business, but everything was going down, 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 down. Then one day, in his subconscious, the reflection came that if Krishna wants to show special mercy to a devotee, he gives it in 2 installments. He will take away everything from you, and then he will incite all your relatives against you so that you can fully depend on Krishna. So how will we now impress this on when things are not going in our way? Can we change the paradigm and say it's something that is wrong? Even there seemingly to be visible things that are wrong. For somebody who is completely surrendered to Krishna, you see the Krishna factor. That's the humble understanding I can give to this. Does it make sense or is nonsense?
Salika, you are muted.
Hare Krishna, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And thank you for the opportunity and giving me opportunity to become a disciple of Sriman Sahadi. I hope you will not reject me like a Dronacharya rejecting a Kalavya.
Even if he rejects you, continue the Sampradaya. The ministry must go on.
Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, anyone with any question, please indicate by showing your hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to go ahead and ask your question. Please, let's make the class lively with sweet questions. Please. Sri Ganga Prasad Prabhu, see, this question Salika Prabhu asked and you answered, it's a very, very, very important question, because as devotees, we're trying to serve Krishna. And if Krishna wants something to happen, then who are we to act otherwise? But there was a time, I don't remember who was speaking, but I remember the contribution His Grace Srimad Prabhu gave in line with this same idea that Krishna is the ultimate doer. Whatever happens is Krishna's will. That sometimes it's not simply because Krishna doesn't want something to happen, but it just happens that the person did not do the thing he had to do in the right way. So he gave an example, like somebody trying to distribute books. And then he goes out and then he says, oh, it's so hard. I try, and nobody's taking book. But if he is taught by an experienced devotee how to distribute books, he may go to the same spot and be able to distribute books. And I shared with this forum some time ago when we went on Harinam. We came home. We came back to the temple with big Lakshmi, but we distributed only one magazine. And when I announced, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj said, "Why so much money and only one literature?" I said, "Maharaj, I'm sorry, we went to the beach and they are illiterates." And so we could not distribute books. Maharaj said, "Okay, today don't go to places where they can distribute, where they can read." So, well, we went to the beach, and because most of them are uneducated, they were not interested in books. But if we want to distribute books, Maharaj Gurudev told us that, okay, do not go to that area, go to where there are educated people. So what I'm trying to say is that, well, we may do something and not find success, and may not, I say may, very important. It may not be as a result, Krishna doesn't want it to happen, but simply because we are not experienced, we are not trained, we do not know exactly what. So you are an experienced devotee and you're an experienced man in the corporate world also. So please guide us as to when we can think or believe that this may not be coming from Krishna. It's simply we are not following authorities, we are not following experienced devotees. That's why things are not happening. Please help.
All right, thank you. Very nice question. And it is part of the proof of professorship. You are very right. I will start from the aspect of the Krishna consciousness philosophy that Mahaprabhu gave is founded on Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, simultaneously one and different. So that accommodates this thought, that accommodates this question. But then if we come down to Krishna's pronouncement in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said in chapter 15, text 15, Savasya Chaham Ridi Sanevisto, Mata Smriti Jnana Punahamcha. I'm situated in everyone's heart. And from me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Just take remembrance and forgetfulness, take knowledge also. Who gives it? Krishna. So Krishna is in the heart. He knows when you want to remember, he gives. When you want to forget, he also allows it. So who is the doer in the end? It's still Krishna. But he said, I have been fulfilling the desires of the condition since time immemorial. It's our desire that is fulfilling. Material world is manifested and is sustained by our desires, Icha. But Krishna said in Gita also, Ye yatamam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham. As a surrender, I reward. He complements the 15:15. And in chapter 2 again, he said, Kamani evadi karaste, ma fale sukadachana, ma kama fala hetubu, mateswan goswa kamani. You have a right to action, but you cannot determine the result of your action. And never you be attached to not doing your work. You know, so where I started at Achintya Veda Veda accommodates all of these thoughts. But in the end, it is still Krishna that gives what we get. Okay? So if we are not acting smart, Krishna is going to allow us to remain in that slow motion, and then we'll get slow results. If we want to act fast, Krishna will also fast because it's in the heart. It's guiding us. But in the end, Krishna says, but I'm still the non-doer. Your head will spark at this point. Because it is based on your desire. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So you are right. There's two paradigms are right because it's Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, but the Krishna factor remains where it is. And Krishna also is acting based on our icha, our desire.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We have Giridhari Puja Devi. Please unmute. Mother Giridhari, see, we are all disciples with, I should say, yeah, we are all disciples. And as disciples, we are all dependent on our gurus. So who are we to pray for our gurus? But we read from Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, when Srila Prabhupada was ill, Srila Prabhupada himself asked his disciples to pray to Krishna. So on that same coin, we are disciples, we are invalid, we are sinful, but as a matter of etiquette and as a matter of need and desire, we are all praying to Krishna for your spiritual master's good health. So take heart, okay? You are not alone. All of us are with you. Please unmute and ask your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for your prayers and thank you for the opportunity. Hare Krishna, Ganga PRASAD Prabhu.
No, do you address him as Prabhu or you address him as Dad?
Try not to be so.
Okay, either way, we accept it.
Giridhari, I want to see your face. It's been long. I saw you last when I was a 2-year-old boy.
I'm so sorry, Prabhu. It's 10 o'clock here.
Okay, no problem.
All right, go ahead.
Dad, I'm just having some confusion regarding the verse that said one should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord favorably without desire for material profit or gain. And they stated it's highlighted as called devotional service. Those who engage in devotional service just to please him are also not interested in so many things they wrote there. So my confusion is, now I do savor for the Lord, and as far as I know, please correct me, everything in this world is from Krishna. Is it that I should not desire what is from Krishna when I do devotional service? Or there are certain things I should desire when I do devotional service, or I should not desire at all? Because I can desire for good health, and that good health I desire is to do my seva better for Krishna. And I can also desire for wealth, and that wealth can be to support the devotees and organize kirtan programs. And I can also desire for so many things which I could use for service for Krishna. So the confusion here is like, it should be without no interest, like no personal interest, then it's called devotional service. So my confusion is, so if I have a desire to use whatever I desire for Krishna, is that not devotional service? That's my question.
Your question is not a yo man or yo woman's question. It's a very matured senior devotee question. And the answer is like this. The first thing is that there's nothing like a state of desirelessness. Either you desire for Krishna or you desire for Maya. there will always be desire. Okay? Now, how it functions is what Rupa Goswami said. Anya bila sutta sunyam jana kamadi anuvritam anukulena Krishna anusilyanam bhakti utama. That when transcendental loving service wakes up in the heart, the desire for gyan, karma, or mystic power, they become irrelevant. And the devotee serves Krishna favorably as Krishna wants. So while we are doing our devotional service, our thoughts and our mindset should be, Krishna, whatever you know will be favorable for me to completely absorb myself in service, serving you. Please facilitate it. It's not like you take a shopping list to Krishna and start making demands. No, leave it to Krishna. Krishna knows what you want. Krishna knows what is best, and Krishna has never failed. Because in Bhagavad Gita 9:22, Krishna said it's like a prophetic pronouncement. 9:22, Krishna said, Ananya tintayanto mam, ye jnana parupasate, tesa nibyati yutanam, yoga shemam, vahamyaham. The yoga, the religious reciprocation of God is that, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Look at the two words. Carry what they lack, preserve what they have. What we already have is attraction to Krishna. And what will sustain that attraction is accepting what is favorable. And what is favorable, we cannot manufacture on our own. Krishna will provide it for us. So let us act as Krishna, worship Krishna with exclusive devotion, meditating on his transcendental form with faith that he will preserve even this little spark of devotion that we have, and he will facilitate what will make us improve on it, whether it be position, whether it be wealth, whether it be renunciation, whatever. Okay? But then see what is there. If you go to the third canto of SRIMAD Bhagavatam, when Kapila Muni was speaking to his mother Devahuti was asking, because we have associated with matter for a very long time, what is the medium to break these chains? And he said, by intensely and constantly hearing or chanting about Krishna's pastimes, all these material affinity, they will be dampened. Then our spiritual nature will come. It is because of material influence that we are feeling thirst, we are feeling sleepy, we are feeling hungry, we are feeling so many things. It is influence of the material influence. But once our devotional service is enhancing, you find out that when you come to transcendental platform, sleep is inconsequential. That's what the Goswamis achieved, that they barely sleep even for 2 hours. It's a symptom of those who have achieved their spiritual identity. But when we are still in the material body, then we desire enough sleep, enough rest, enough this, enough that, so that we do. Krishna fulfills that also until we make very, very outstanding advancement. So keep up your pace. Just desire nothing more than that we want to serve Krishna. And depend on Krishna that whatever will facilitate this, as you find necessary, please provide. And when Krishna provides, don't complain, it's not enough. Don't grumble, oh, if I have this. Because I used to tell one devotee, he's not like strictly practicing, but he's very attracted to Krishna consciousness. He wants money. And he's telling me, oh, Krishna is delaying, he's not bringing the money. I said, why don't you also think that Krishna knows your temperament? That if he gives you the money, you can go haywire and say, kill him, I will pay. Krishna does not want to give you that kind of money. because Krishna does not approve of you killing. You know, many people with so many words. Look at what happened in Nigeria this Sunday. It is people's money that procure the arms. It is people's money that mobilize those bandits that came to a place of worship and they throw explosive in the altar. Okay, it has happened in Mayapo also. So it is wrong wealth acquired through wrong means that make people have wrong desires and they destroy themselves. So for us to be saved, we should only desire to serve Krishna and depend on Krishna that whatever will be required to do this, please, in your own goodwill and time, provide it. So it is, there's nothing like desirelessness. Forget that, it doesn't exist. There's also nothing like renunciation. Yukta Vairagya means use everything to serve Krishna. So where is renunciation? Where is desirelessness? When he desire, Prabhupada said his greatest weakness is he desires very high. His high desire to please Krishna. It means he has desire, but it is two paradigms: desire for material situation and desire to serve Krishna. Let us remain in that paradigm where we desire for Krishna. So you are not wrong. Whatever Krishna also provides in course of your doing his seva, Prabhupada said these four things. Books are the basis. Preaching is the essence. Utility is the principle. What is utility? How you use things that come from preaching. Preaching must produce results. It is QED. When you finish solving a mathematical problem, if you cure ED, quod edram demonstrandum, means this is the end of it. So it is a conclusion in Krishna conscious practice. Once you are doing Krishna conscious practice, results must come. How you use the result is what Prabhupada meant by utility. And to be able to use right, purity is the fourth. Purity of the senses, body and mind, and purity of purpose. Hare Krishna Giridhari Devi, you sparked my day.
Thank you. I really asked that question because I told you about the story that I forgot my details in the train and they found themselves to me back. And you told me that they wanted me to serve them better. So lately I've been like, I decided not to take them as my Lord and personal Savior. I take them as my brothers now. So I was speaking to them a few days ago and I was like, sometimes I don't have good health to do good savor for you. And sometimes I have to travel for programs and I cannot attend to you the way you need. So it was then this lecture of Bhaktidhira Damodara Swami was played a few days ago where he said, Krishna doesn't want you to serve him. You have to serve Krishna. I'm not sure if that statement is right, but I heard something like this. And I was just wondering that if I'm not, as I take them as a brother, for us to have a good understanding, is it something that is wrong to do as devotional service?
No. It is part of the rasas. Whatever way you want to do them. As long as you have attraction and feelings. When Krishna said, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, if you offer unto me with love, whatever relationship that is embedded with love, it will make you seem always Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vinochanena Santa Sadaiva Rida Yesu Vilokalayantam Yan Shama Sundara Machintya Guna Sarupam Govinda Madi Pusham Tamahamba. You can see them constantly with the eyes of the heart smeared with the purple of love. Is the purple. Rupa Goswami says one should worship Krishna according to one's own means. Your means includes your health. It's like when I was having my earlier experience with this ailment, I could not stand for more than 10 minutes. And I communicated to Kavichandra Maharaj. And I said, I'm under obligation to do deity seva, but I can't stand for 10 minutes. And I cannot stay until the 20 minutes of puja. Kavichandra Maharaj told me, Krishna does not want you to suffer because you have to worship him. So if you cannot stand, sit down and do your offerings. And if you cannot tarry for 20 minutes, do for 10 minutes. It is your intention that Krishna is seeing. It's not the details. It's your heart feeling, your emotion. So as brother, as sister, as lover, as a friend, as parental, whatever, just make sure you are inclined to relate to Krishna according to your means.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Sri Ganga Prasad Prabhu. And Gridari Pujadevi, thank you so much for your questions. And we believe your deities love you the way you were serving them. That's why they came back to you. So don't give up. Srimad Vara Prabhu, are you still there? You had your hand raised. Please, you may go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Glories to Guru and God.
Dandavat Pranam. My obeisances, my respectful obeisances to you and to all the devotees on the forum. Thank you for the wonderful lecture. It's just that I want you to clarify something. One is, what motivates a devotee? What is the motivation for a devotee? And then this also leads to the second question. We preach often in ISKCON, don't be attached to result, but we want progress. And when we don't see progress, we criticize our service. We're not doing well. And sometimes we make comparison with what we're doing and what other groups are doing. This comparison goes on everywhere. But at the same time, we tell devotees, no, don't be attached to results. No? Everything is what Krishna wants. So I'm trying to see, how does a devotee get motivated? And how do you measure your progress, especially materially? Because, like you said, if there is preaching, there will be progress. I mean, if there's preaching, there will be result. But then herein, we find devotees who may not have result from their preaching, and they just say, well, that's what Krishna wants. So please, I want you to clarify this, because I think it may be demotivating people when they constantly hear that the result doesn't matter, it is just what Krishna wants. But when we see good results, and when we see wonderful progress elsewhere, then we again, use that to compare our level. So this confusion, I want you to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. This is an Acharya's question. And only Acharyas can answer questions like this. But because you are my
this one is high level.
you are my mentor. I think you will place in my heart what to speak. The questions is beneficial for everybody.
Yeah.
We can answer the question from different angles. One, philosophically, is say what motivates devotees. In Gita 7:16, Krishna said 4 kinds of people come to him. So according to what brings them is how they will be motivated. And I use myself as an example. Krishna knows I'm a very, very neophyte devotee. But Krishna always come in my way by showing me or giving or providing things that stimulate me to be more committed and fixed in devotional service. He gives me a lot of results. This is my own personal experiential knowledge. And that is what I'm made of. I'm a result-based person. I like results. Although the volume of result I want may not be what I'm getting, but the fact that it is streaming in, like they say, multiple sources of streaming in income. There's nobody who is not motivated by that. Let the result be coming from many ways. So, but all of us don't want the same thing. Some are inquisitive, If they are getting stimulation from inquisitiveness, it can keep them, it can carry on. Those who are in distress, if they are getting succor and consolation, they can tarry. Those who are in search of wealth, if the money is coming also, they are motivated. And those who are intelligent, the Gyanis, those who actually want to know about the absolute truth, the more they are getting this tatwa, the more they are becoming absorbed. That motivates them. Now, that is personal application. What about preaching application? Preaching application means the same thing you have gotten, giving it out to others. How does it impact on them? And how do they respond to you to continue to do it? That also motivates. So I was just yesterday, I had, in the last 2 days, I had some experience. We are doing our Harinam daily right on the highway. So we encounter a lot of people daily, different people, different moods. But there's this one guy who came, he's a Christian, he was kabashing to and fro. A pastor, the person giving out book, handed book to him, he didn't take. When he came back, the guy gestured the book to him again, and he told him, be careful. He warned him outright. And the next day, he passed by again, and the guy gestured book to him. He collected the book, but he handed him a letter. And the letter is the regular thing you hear from Christians: give your life to Jesus. Along with that, he made some threat. But the beautiful thing at the end of the letter, he put his phone number. And from what I learned from Bhaktipa said, good or bad publicity, all is publicity. So when I got the letter, I realized this is my own take. Oh, what we are doing is having effect, even though the person is not friendly. So I muzzled strength, and depending on internal inspiration, I used his number, I contacted him. And I told him, I thanked him for his love. I thanked him for his counsel. I thanked him for everything. And I told him, it would have been nice if we meet, since we have some conflicting areas, we can talk it over. That is how to resolve conflict. We have to talk. And he was excited to that. And I now went further to tell him, only it wouldn't have been necessary to issue threats. And I now cited examples of, what is his name? Elijah and the worshippers of Baal. He said he did not issue any threats, but he executed some exercise with them, and the truth came out. He said, so if you feel that you have something very outstanding, we can talk, and then we can exercise, and then we'll see the gray areas. But I'll tell you very frankly, yesterday the guy came. We had 1 hour of exchanges. He has his mind made up on what he believes in. But on me, I was so fulfilled that I have opportunity to share with somebody what he doesn't know. So I told him in the end, from our discussion, you can deduce that what you know, I know it. It's just that you don't understand some things that I know. But we can end by putting it in prayer. Make it your prayer point. That if I'm going astray, God should guide me aright. And if there's something I know that you don't know or understand, God should reveal it to you. So we parted as friends. We exchanged WhatsApp numbers. That is result. God is giving me that. It's motivating me to continue with what I'm doing. But for somebody, he may be devastated that he's threatened. So it depends on what gives you your kick. So if result comes, it may not be as palatable as you want it. But if you are seeing through the eye of the scripture and you are guided, you'll be grateful. At least something is coming for your efforts. It may not commensurate with what your expectation is, but be happy that something is coming. So the idea of comparison, our Sukriti is not the same. I aspire to function like you, Prabhu Varaha. I may have never told you this. But I'm humbled with the understanding that whatever Asumedya Yagya you have done in your past life that is making you so outstanding, I may not have done that, but I'm encouraged to remain in the path of doing something for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. And I will want to, like what Lakshnapa said, he said, even if the standard is very lofty and high, don't drag it down, but aspire for it. So stay tuned, stay focused, and then keep trying. So I don't know you, like I said earlier, this is Acharya's question, and the answer also will come from the Acharya. But because you are in my heart, you are in my soul, whatever I said is what you ministered to me, and you can also make do to add purport to it. Hare Krishna.
Ganga Prabhu.
Anyway. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ganga Prabhu. Your humility, it's actually making me fall over, with laughter here. Thank you. I appreciate your answer, and the fact that you said that that our security is not the same. I was actually not talking personally. I was talking about the institution. Like our institution. Sometimes, many a time, we compare our progress with others. But I'm trying to. The point I'm trying to raise is that don't we think that our philosophy has something to do in not making us to get this kind of result we want? Because we also have this kind of out of the world kind of mood, and at the same time we want to see some big results that we're impacting in the world. So that is the area I was kind of making reference to. But I thank you for the way you broke it down. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
All I am is your mercy.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. This is so sweet. Shri Hari Chakra Prabhu, please unmute if you're still there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, like Ganga Prasad said, I think Varaha is really an acharya, because he might have read my mind. Because I was going to make a follow-up with Giridhari Puja's question.
Okay.
Because I think I asked the same question to Rukmini Mataji, Mother Rukmini, when she was on this platform.
Yeah.
And I think what Varaha Prabhu just said goes in line, but I'll go ahead and still ask it anyway. Like I said, we know a pure devotee like Prabhupada, even before he came to America, he was praying to Krishna that, Krishna, let me dance the way you want me to dance. Krishna, use me the way you want to use me. Even though Prabhupada was showing all the symptoms of complete surrender to Krishna, but at the same time, he was strategically making plans to be successful. It's not that he just said, Krishna, use me the way you want to use me, make me dance the way you want me to dance, and then waited for Krishna to let things happen. No, he strategically, he put intelligence, he put plans in place that will make his mission successful. So like Varaha Prabhu was saying, sometimes when I hear most of our philosophy, when we talk about, whatever Krishna wants, and it makes, personally, I feel it makes some of us, the disciples, become some lazy type of folks. Instead of trying to strategically put some, we may be wrong doing something that, even though we are sincere that this is what we want to do, but we may be doing it in the wrong way. But instead of going back, sit down, analyze the mistake we are making, and then try to adjust and make sure that we are now applying things properly to make progress, we will just console ourselves that this is what Krishna wants. That's why it happened like that. So that is the question I'm trying to ask Ganga Prasad now, that that philosophy of, we shouldn't be attached to results, and sometimes it baffles me. And personally, I'm also thinking that it makes us become like, what do we call it? I don't even know the word to use. You see,
lazy. I think it sometimes leads to laziness.
Yeah, we become complacency. It makes us become so complacent that we don't get any result.
Complacent, and it demotivates. It demotivates people.
It makes us so complacent because sometimes we know definitely we've made a mistake. Instead of going back, accepting the mistake we've made. I was just reading something somebody posted on another forum that one CEO was making so much progress, and this reporter went to the CEO and asked the CEO, how are your policies being so successful? The CEO said, because I make the right decisions. And the reporter said, how are you able to make the right decisions? Then the CEO said, because of experience. And then the reporter said, where did you get the experience? And the CEO said, by making a lot of wrong decisions. You see, so the CEO is saying that he made a lot of wrong decisions. Based on the wrong decisions he made, he sat down, he sat back, analyzed the wrong decisions he has made, tried to make modifications, and based on that experience, he was able to make the right decision, which is now making him successful. So as devotees, what are we doing to sit back and look at the mistakes that we've made and try to adjust it? We know definitely that without Krishna's mercy, things will not happen. But Krishna doesn't let things just happen. Like all the devotees, Ganga Prasad has said it, a lot of devotees have said it. When Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight, Krishna was giving his mercy. But Arjuna didn't just sit down and waited for Krishna to kill all the people on the battlefield. Arjuna was shooting the arrows strategically. So please clear my doubt. Now you are my Krishna now, so clear my doubt completely.
Hare Krishna.
I like the mood. I like the mood here. I'm inspired. I thank you all for this privilege. Things are not changing from what we are all saying. We're all saying the same thing because there are classes of people based on their sukriti. That's what Krishna said in that 7th week. Jana Sukriti no Arjuna. You know, they are all pious based on their past life. Otherwise, they could have gone somewhere else. All of us who are here also, who could have gone somewhere instead of coming to Krishna consciousness. Okay? But the fact is, I will tell you this very honestly, the kind of environment you find yourself affects your productivity. Please take note of this.
Yes.
As of today, with the volume of time I've spent in the ashram, interacting with devotees in different environments, I can make deductions. At so and so time, this is how I was feeling, and this is what I did. At so and so time, this is how I was feeling. So it depends on the individual. Some of us are fireballs, and some of us are very sattvic, docile people. And so what you bring to the drawing table is what determines what you plan with, and that what you execute with. Prabhupada, I said, was given instruction for 44 years. He was dealing with how to execute it. In that 44 years, he was doing planning and he was strategizing. The first strategy Prabhupada did was starting to print journals, Back to Godhead magazine, and was distributing it himself. And he got knocked here and there. But he was not doing it with people. He was doing it alone. That is his mood.
Devotees is frozen. He'll be back. He will be
If
back.
it is
Okay,
not, we have different vision, and so our mission also is different. Different results we have got. It took some. He set up a restaurant.
We lost Prabhuji again. Unstable internet.
It's interference.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you. You please unmute. Ganga Prasad Prabhu, unmute.
All right.
Good.
So where I stop is Prabhupada did not do it with people. Prabhupada did it on his own. So our ingenuity sometimes is functional when we apply it on our own, but guided. Then we'll see results that commensurate with our moves. But sometimes the kind of association we keep can demotivate us. Because the people you are with may not be as progressive as you are thinking. So I was saying that when I was talking to Prabhu Varaha recently in the past comment, I was not faking, I was not making it up. Prabhu Varaha set up a restaurant in Ibadan, close to the University of Ibadan. And I came at later years to manage the same Ibadan temple. Actually, that's where I started my spiritual life in Africa, in Ibadan. And so when I heard that he opened another restaurant in Togo, I'm not surprised because he has flair for it. But what we need to do is apply people according to their proclivity. Sometimes we tangle with people even when we know that this is where they are cut out for. It will not be self-glorification, aggrandizement, or making boasts. I know what I have gone through in course of my stay here in Africa, but I know that there are some recurring decimals that are happening around me and they are not changing. And it's making me what I want to be. So I can't stop. But then if I find the enabling environment, I may be better. So the same thing, our environment affects us. Our environment also destroys us. Because when we're in an environment where people are not taking the process seriously, they are not dynamic enough, then, you know, it can actually wreck your inspiration. Look at Chopati. We started Chopati as refugees. Disciples of a guru excommunicated from ISKCON. Even my temple president also was excommunicated along with the guru. So you can imagine the devastation. But we came to an environment where everybody was determined to collaborate and do things. And we are doing a lot of experiments. Those who are in the academia, we are imputing the academic qualities. Those who were like into, those who are in the medical field, they were imputing. But look at today. The same environment had a state-of-the-art medical facility in Mumbai. And they have a big tourist attraction temple in Mumbai. Okay, so
it's not just Mumbai, Prabhu, it's the whole world.
No, I'm not speaking outside the world. I'm talking of Mumbai, where I can tell you that before COVID, not less than 40 buses loaded with tourists. Chupati is one of the tourist hubs in Mumbai, according to Mumbai geographical map, where you can visit places of interest to visit in Mumbai. Other places I cannot speak of, I'm talking of where I know. And they are devotees whose service is to do tour guide, care for the visitors. All of so there's engagement. But if you are aware that nothing is happening, even if you want to do something, you'll be demoralized. So let us not always wait for the environment. Let us wait for the mood, or let us introspect on the mood and move when the mood moves you. Move when the mood moves you. And that is what I learned from Radhana Maharaj. Radhana Maharaj was disassociated from ISKCON because of Bhaktipad's excommunication. But he didn't keep his head below water. He was above the waters. And he tarried until when there was a facility to interact with the God brothers, and then things just took off from there. But then the Chopati mood he created became a model for all of ISKCON to aspire for. So these are things that we could, on our own, also introspect. What do you know of yourself? What can you do? Don't keep saying people, people, people. Be the change you want to see. And then things will start happening. That is how I feel. That is how I feel about Prabhu Varaha. That is my appreciation for him. And I say I want to be like him.
Yeah.
That is one
I want to be like you too.
sport.
I want to be like you too, Ganga Prabhu.
Thank you so much. This is so sweet. You know, Ganga Prabhu, what you just shared is just reminding me that, in fact, whatever the scriptures say will have to pass. You know, it's true. Because in the Bible, it says the rejected stone became the cornerstone. And we see it all the time. But oftentimes we don't seem to learn. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So whoever feels rejected, abandoned, as long as we're trying to serve Guru and Krishna in their own right time will make us who they want us to be. And people will not.
Sorry to chip this in, it may be out of the
Please
box.
go ahead. No, please go ahead.
There's this statement by the Bob Marley. He said, "We got the fire." You know?
Yeah.
They cannot change it. They can't stop it.
Yeah.
And that is, we got something.
Yes.
They cannot change.
Yeah.
And that is the fire burning everywhere.
Yeah.
That fire is enthusiasm, your enthusiasm. And Rupa Goswami enjoying that, things favorable, enthusiastically, endeavoring with confidence, but being patient also.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the fire. Let the fire burn.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ganga Prabhu, for, in fact, I don't think there could have been a better way of ending the week than what we've just had. Today is Friday, and Friday, everybody is eager running to the countryside to be with nature. And you've started our journey to have union with Mother Nature right here on this forum. So thank you so much. At this point, I think we might have to bring the class to a close. It's been 2:26. Thank you so much. 2 hours, 26 minutes.
Sade Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I had this, I wanted to say it before the class, and I think I should say it.
Please.
I owe a lot of gratitude to the organizers and those who prepared the slots. Yes, we study, we know some of the scripture, we are learning every day. But each time I'm given opportunity to speak, I get some inside inspiration to study more, romance some more facts, and be able to come out worthy to do something. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. Yes, we'll study. But he said, if you don't speak, what you know will evaporate.
Yes.
So I thank all of you. And I thank those also who are making it obligation to be present in the audience. The forum is not working if you are not there, or it will not work if you are not there. And we also cannot work if you don't give us the slot.
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody.
Well, thank you so much, Ganga Prabhu. You are an inspiration to many of us, more than you can ever imagine. So, you know, you are a mirror. You cannot see yourself, but you reflect on us, so we see you. Thank you so much. At this point, we're going to ask the devotees to kindly unmute, and then we chant big Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the loudest we can, to express our appreciation for our dearest brother here today. Jai.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna. Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Srivacha, Chitra, Pavana, Vibhyo, Vaishnava, Vibhyo, Namo, Namaha.
Ananta Koti
Ganga
Vaishnav
Prasad
Vrinda
Prabhu
ki
ki
Jai.
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 All glories to His Holiness Raghunath Maharaj ki
Jai.
Oh, Hare Krishna,
You see, Papa?
Hare Krishna.
Have you seen Papa?
Thank you all. So you all have a very
Papa
wonderful
is here.
Krishna conscious weekend, and then we meet again.
Haribo.
Haribo. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Acha Kripa.
Hare Krishna.
Ube ko New York na